If I have seen further, it is by standing on the shoulders of giants. Newton humbly acknowledges that his discoveries were built upon the work of those who came before him, emphasizing the cumulative nature of scientific progress. To every action, there is always opposed an equal reaction. Newton's third law of motion states that any force exerted on an object will result in an equal and opposite force exerted back on the source of the initial force. I can calculate the motion of heavenly bodies, but not the madness of people. Newton's immense understanding of physics and astronomy contrasts with the complexities and unpredictability. Plato is my friend, Aristotle is my friend, but my greatest friend is truth. Newton values truth above personal allegiances or affiliations, highlighting his commitment to pursuing knowledge and understanding. Tact is the knack of making a point without making an enemy. Newton recognizes the importance of diplomacy and skillful communication in expressing one's ideas without causing unnecessary conflict. If I have done the public any service, it is due to my patient thought. Newton attributes his contributions to society to his diligent and thorough thinking process, emphasizing the significance of contemplation and analysis. To explain all nature is too difficult a task for any one man or even for any one age. 'Tis much better to do a little with certainty and leave the rest for others that come after you. Newton acknowledges the vastness of the natural world and suggests that it is more practical to focus on making incremental discoveries, paving the way for future generations to build upon his work. We build too many walls and not enough bridges. Newton highlights the need for fostering connections and collaboration among individuals and societies rather than creating divisions and barriers. I was like a boy playing on the seashore and diverting myself now and then finding a smoother pebble or a prettier shell, while the great ocean of truth lay all undiscovered before me. Newton uses a metaphor to describe his pursuit of knowledge, emphasizing that despite his discoveries, there is still much more to uncover. Truth is the offspring of silence and meditation. Newton suggests that contemplative thought and introspection are essential for arriving at truthful conclusions. I do not know what I may appear to the world, but to myself, I seem to have been only like a boy playing on the seashore and diverting myself in now and then finding a smoother pebble or a prettier shell than ordinary, whilst the great ocean of truth lay all undiscovered before me. Newton once again uses the metaphor of a child exploring the seashore to describe his intellectual pursuits, emphasizing his sense of humility and the vastness of unexplored knowledge. What goes up must come down. This phrase encapsulates Newton's observation regarding gravity. It implies that any object thrown into the air will eventually return to the ground due to the force of gravity pulling it downward. I can calculate the movement of stars, but not the madness of men. Newton acknowledges his ability to understand celestial mechanics, but recognizes the complexity and irrationality of human behavior, which is beyond precise calculation. To me, there has never been a higher source of earthly honor or distinction than that connected with advances in science. Newton expresses his deep reverence for scientific progress and discoveries, viewing them as the pinnacle of human achievement. If I have ever made any valuable discoveries, it has been owing more to patient attention than to any other talent. Newton emphasizes the importance of focused and persistent observation, suggesting that careful attention is crucial for making significant breakthroughs. What we know is a drop. What we don't know is an ocean. Newton acknowledges that the sum of human knowledge is relatively small compared to the vast amount of knowledge that remains unknown and undiscovered. A man may imagine things that are false, but he can only understand things that are true. Newton highlights the distinction between imagination and understanding, emphasizing the significance of basing knowledge on truth and evidence. I frame no hypotheses. Explanation: Newton's statement indicates his approach of avoiding speculative or unverified. He preferred to base his scientific claims on concrete evidence and empirical observation. Nature is pleased with simplicity. Newton recognizes that the natural world tends to operate according to simple and elegant principles, which can be observed and understood through careful study. I was in the prime of my age for invention. Newton refers to a period in his life when he was particularly creative and productive, suggesting that his scientific breakthroughs occurred during his most intellectually fertile years. Live your life as an exclamation, not an explanation. Newton encourages individuals to live life with enthusiasm and passion, rather than constantly trying to justify or explain their actions. To every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. That is the law of physics, and it also applies to human relationships. Newton's famous law of motion can be metaphorically applied to human interactions, suggesting that actions and consequences are intertwined in social dynamics. We are to admit no more causes of natural things than such as are both true and sufficient to explain their appearances. Newton advocates for Occam's razor, a principle that favors simpler explanations over complex ones, urging scientists to avoid unnecessary assumptions in their theories. I can calculate the orbit of the planets, but I cannot calculate the madness of men. Newton acknowledges the predictability and calculability of celestial mechanics while contrasting it with the unpredictable and irrational nature of human behavior. What we know is a drop. What we don't know is an ocean. But what we don't know is a small island compared to what we will never know. Newton suggests that the vast expanse of unknown knowledge is incomparable to the limited knowledge humans have acquired, emphasizing the perpetual nature of exploration and discovery. These quotes provide insight into Newton's scientific mindset, his humility, and his deep fascination with understanding the natural world.